The year 2023 is shaping up to become a key junction in the nation's political journey. Political parties, the traditional powerhouses, and the new and fast-moving entrants to the race are jostling for relevance, endorsement, and approval amongst the nation's gigantic voting populace. Is there a place for ideology, or is it a case of stomach infrastructure? Talking about structures, cross-carpeting, or shall we say defections or rumors of it, rule the day while clandestine consultations consume the night, all in the bid to win on election morning. Also on Political Update today, we shall interrogate the concept of manifestos and the options open to candidates as they approach the podium. I am Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. The national leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, says it remains one united family under the Senator Iyorchia Ayu-led National Working Committee.
The need to further deepen the democratic ideals of the PDP informed this gathering of former national, zonal and state publicity secretaries. The interface with the National Working Committee of the party is to bring them in tune with current happenings to further project the party in its rebuilding and rebranding initiative.
We are coming here to listen to you and to get you together to craft the necessary strategies for us to convey to the Nigerian people the best message that will make us win the next election.
And we have a relationship within the NWC that is based purely on the interest of the party and nothing more.
Meanwhile, the North Central Zonal Youth Summit of the PDP was conducted in Abuja with a charge on the party youth to embrace positive virtues that will hold the party in good stead.
Sincerely speaking, we have been relegated to the background and we always contribute from 60 to 70% of votes in this country.
We have 1,398 wards in the North Central. We have 26,090 polling units in North Central. These are things we need to know.
The summit is expected to be replicated in each of the North Central states.
Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello says the All Progressives Congress must pull together to ensure victory in the 2023 general elections. He was speaking at an interactive session with the APC governorship candidate and candidates for other elective positions in Niger State.
The meeting, which attracted party stalwarts and its faithfuls, is part of the ongoing reconciliation process to give the aggrieved members the opportunity to air their grievances and chart a new course. Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, who chaired the meeting, described it as apt, as it will further serve as a veritable platform for the party to strategize and aim for victory in the forthcoming local government and the 2023 general elections. Although the governor noted that APC remain a party to reckon with, he however stressed that a lot of hard work and energy are required to sustain its victories at all levels.
We all have our candidates. God will let us decide, as painful as it is, if our candidate not yes, would lead among the parties. I think the thing here is facts. I firmly believe if APC forms government, it will be a outcome.
Nobody's going to shy away from the fact that you can have congresses, you can have primaries, and you come out smooth. You have to have issues. There are camps, there are people who are aggrieved. So the continuous engagement with stakeholders at different levels will seal that issue, and by the grace of God, will be top.
The meeting was rancor-free and interactive.
To our discussion now, the journey to the 2023 general election is beginning to gather momentum. Campaign teams are being formed, new friends replacing old ones, and candidates wooing foes for votes. Joining us is CPC, then APC stalwart and former Minister of Communication, Dr. Adiba Oshitu. He is the DG of the Ashwaju Shetima Coalition for Good Governance. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure being here.
All right, just a few, was it a few days ago that you changed the name of this, coalition? What informed that? Because some new entrants? Or?
Yes, well, because it was time for the party to establish a campaign council. Campaign council certainly is different from campaign organization, and it's the same presidential election, so one had to give way for the other. So the campaign council is the official party, arrangement, and you can imagine the confusion which would have existed if we had two director generals of the same presidential campaign council. So, campaign election. So we decided that we had to change our name so that the official party one, would be identified properly, and there would not be any duplicity in identity.
All right, you left the public glare of media interviews after the first, part of this tenure after 2019, and you are well rested now, but it seems as if having taken this new mantle, you have even grown a few more grades.
Well, I keep growing. Growing is a gracious process, and to my mind, I don't see any change in me. I continue to radiate God's blessings, and I'm a happy man. I'm fulfilled.
All right, let's go to the nitty-gritty. As we said, the verbal jousting has begun. Your party has picked the candidates, the main horse, and the supporting for the election, and many questions have come from that. From different quarters. One is the fact that it's a single faith ticket, talking about the Muslim ticket. And a lot of people have said, how do you get the buy-in of those who may think they are being excluded from this ticket?
Nobody is excluded from the ticket. Remember that there are not just two religions in Nigeria. There's Islam, there's Christianity, there are myriads of other religions, and it is not possible to have everything on the ticket. That is why. But more importantly, there's nothing like Muslim ticket, as far as we know. What the Constitution talks of when it relates to diversity is regional, zonal, diversity, not religious diversity. Remember that we have 6 geopolitical zones. Essentially, you also have 2 main regions, the north and the south. So that is the alternation that the Constitution anticipates. So I remember also that the presidential candidate did not emerge as presidential candidate because he's a Muslim, or not because he's not a Muslim. The vice president can not emerge because he's a Muslim or not. They come from different geopolitical zones, and that is what is anticipated, particularly in relation to the north-south dichotomy.
Some may think this explanation may be a bit simplistic in terms of looking at our historical antecedents, because one that has emerged like this before was one that, of course, not because of religious reasons, suffered a stillbirth because of the confrontations in 1993.
It did not suffer stillbirth because the two parties or candidates were Muslims.
I understand. I said so. I just said so. You were listening to me. I just said so. That does not be reason.
Yes, exactly.
I'm saying that is the only other experience we have.
Well,
it is not. Therefore, it is not, for instance, not unexpected that people might want to raise a few questions that since our history till now, confronting our differences have always also taken a religious connotation as well.
Well, you see, it is also simplistic to now reduce the issue of candidates to mere religious faith. What is important, as far as we are concerned, is that we have not done anything unlawful or anything illegal or anything unconstitutional. We have somebody in Tinubu who incidentally happened to be a Muslim. He could have been a Christian. What is important is that he's a Yoruba man. And also we have a vice presidential candidate, a Kanuri man from the other extreme. You know, if you look at Nigerian map,
just like you dissected the country into
exactly.
two.
That is what is important. And because also none of them is going there to represent Islam or to represent any religion. They are there because of the geographical or geopolitical, you know, divisions within Nigeria. You know, when we reduce the whole thing to Muslim, whatever, it's the wrong impression is given that they are going to represent their religious, you know, persuasions. That is not the truth.
But, yes, but when we are talking in terms of democracy too, those who have this perhaps standpoint or viewpoint must also be explained to. That's why
we have been doing explanation.
So explain further.
The important explanation is that these people are going there because they are Nigerians and because they come from different geopolitical zones of north and south, and because our party has decided that for purpose of winning election, this is the best candidate. It's a masterstroke as far as I'm concerned for us to win election. Many of those making the noise, with due respect to them, are not even members of our party. It is as if they know that with this ticket we are surely going to defeat, you know, our opponents. So they make in order to confound people, in order to confuse Nigerians, so that perhaps they may look the other way. But I'm happy that, I mean, Christians from the south are not necessarily different from Christians from the north. And I mean, majority of southern Christians are supporting the Tinubu presidential ticket.
And we'll find out next year. But let's you know, look at a few more things. You have your party has government in power, and you've spent 7 years plus almost going to 8 now, to get to 8 by the time we're doing the elections, to advertise the credentials of your party and your constancy as far as you know, producing results and sticking to your manifesto is concerned. Have you done enough to earn the trust of Nigerians for another
By the grace of God, and that is why you find more Nigerians, more politicians coming to join APC than those exiting APC.
Some are exiting though.
Of course, I mean, it's a normal thing.
What could be the reasons for this? After all, you are the ruling party.
Look, people would exit if, for instance, they have aspirations to have the party's ticket for one position, one electoral position or the other, and they don't get the ticket. They go and look for what they consider to be greener pastures, and they are free to do that because the constitution does not prevent them from exiting. Remember also that political parties are associations of free joiners and free leavers. Everybody, you could join today, exit tomorrow. You don't need a, you know, license to do that. You don't need a visa to come in or go out of the party. So everything that's happening is perfectly normal. It's up to individuals to, you know, take their decisions.
All right. In your state, at a point, you also campaigned to be the helmsman of the state. Is all well in your state as far as the ruling party is concerned? We heard this today, that tomorrow, because, for instance, when you are pushing for elections like this, the party must stand well at the grassroots for it to push forward at the national.
Certainly, we are okay. We are working very hard. You see, there's no political party which does not have its, you know, bit of a crisis, quote and unquote. Just as we have, PDP also has. As a matter of fact, during our own gubernatorial primary, things went well to the extent that there was no single crisis or upheaval or assault against anybody. On the other hand, PDP's gubernatorial primary, they guns were shot at people. People were beaten up and all of that.
Let's stick to your party because
no. I mean, look, our party is not the only party which exists in this country, and we are always in contention, one party against the other. So it is not out of place to compare situations when issues of, you know, possible crisis is discussed in regard to our party. It will also be, you know, appropriate to compare it to show that we are even better than other competitors within the state?
Oh, well, that will be down to conjecture because even at the moment, the ruling party in your state is from the opposition, so we may not be able to say exactly how it is. But I know, of course, the efforts that people, our stakeholders, are making in different political parties to push forward. And it's not about PDP and your party alone. At least two more parties are entering the race with good chances as well. What is the language in the podium? You know, we have not started. The race is just about to start in terms of going to the podium and converting support for your, party and your candidate. But already, people are throwing stones already. What is the why? I hope we are going to enjoy the very best of time, especially from the part of the electorate.
From our party, I can assure you that we will conduct our campaigns as peacefully as is humanly possible. We are going to discuss issues. There are a lot of issues in contention against the governing party in my state, and we are going to take the best advantage of them. But the time for it will soon come.
All right, now let's go into, issues of, because as it is now, you have come in as pastor, part of the people, can we say, laundering the image of your principles and all that to Nigerians. We have not gotten to that point, perhaps, say. But in your experience, having worked especially for opposition party before you became the government at the center, it looks to us somehow that the bigger parties dominate. But it's not about manifestos these days. It's about the human being. It's about the personality of the people you are projecting. So are we sacrificing general political ideology for just, the principles, the human beings? And what does that portend for our political
I would agree with you likely that Nigeria is moving away from ideological political persuasions because the English people say if people deserve the leadership that they get. Nigerians, unfortunately, are not even prepared to listen to manifestos these days. When you go out to campaign, when you go out to people to campaign, they're not even going to ask you, and it's very sad, they're not going to ask you what you will do when you get there. The more probable thing is, what did you bring for us? It's very sad. I have been advocate of ideological politics. I have been a product of the Awolowo School of Politics, which believes in life more abundant by way of governance. Unfortunately, this is becoming very unpopular, and that is why more often than not, people get to government, they would have spent themselves out, and at the end of the day, they don't do much. But I'm happy to say that when we came on board, we made some promises that we decided, on, and I'm happy I can beat my chest and say that at the federal level, we've done very well. I can assure you about that. If people want details, I'll tell them what we have been able to do.
All right, you are Minister of Communication, you are still communicating, but let's, take something, a report from other parties so that we get a flavor of what they are doing as well. The Labour Party says it is working out modalities to increase its membership registration at the grassroots.
Ward executives of the 6 council areas of the FCT, Labour union leaders and various groups are in this meeting to cross-check activities and harmonize ideas to drive the party to a successful outing in the FCT. The leaders advised those interested in working for the party to get prepared.
When God wants to salvage a country, He will give you a good leader. He will give you simply a good leader. And it's not what is go and verify. And since people have been verified, nobody has counted this.
Don't forget, the strength of every party is in his membership. It's not just enough to go and vote. You also need to register in your various wards, because in the next few months, Labour Party will be going into a convention.
The members agreed that when the foundations at the unit levels are strong, the party will smile into victory.
Can come to ward meetings, you'll see lots of people. What are structures? Structures are people. And do you think Labour does not have people? At the grassroots, we certainly do have.
Some of them don't know much about the ward executive, the polling unit executive, and those in the area council. So we are bringing all our people together to know ourselves so that we can move this party forward.
NSC and TUC are also to work hand in hand with the party leadership to ensure that the interests of workers are represented in the activities.
You're still watching Political Update. Dr. Adebayo Shitu, former Minister of Communication, is our guest today. You've been in the public space recently, and your passion cannot be shrugged aside. But when you are campaigning for one of the presidential candidates, but do you have ambitions of your own still, having gone to test the waters at state level at some point? Do you have some personal ambitions again in terms of governance, or you're just trying to push your principle over the line?
Well, I thank God that he has assisted me over the last 45 years or thereabout. I have, at an early age of 26, I was elected as a member of Oyo State House of Assembly. Shortly after that, in 1983, I also became the Honorable Commissioner for Home Affairs, Information and Culture. In 2007, I became Attorney General of my state, and in 2015, 2019, I was Minister. On hindsight, you want to ask how many people in politics have had this privilege of, occupying 4 or 5 political positions. So for now, I tried to be governor about 3 times. Maybe God's time is the best. If it ever comes, I will put in my best, because I am confident that I can do much more for Nigeria. But if it doesn't come, I don't miss anything anymore. I am currently working very hard to ensure that the presidential candidate of my party, the APC, wins. So for now, that is the ambition that I have.
All right, before we go, some issues already as well. As Nigeria, as the year 2023 draws ever closer, the Nigerian police and other relevant law enforcement agencies have been encouraged to monitor, arrest, and prosecute politicians who incite members of the public to violence and other disturbing tendencies during the election season.
The need for all Nigerians to support the Independent National Electoral Commission and other stakeholders to conduct a violent, free, fair, and credible 2023 general election that will become a point of reference in Africa and the world was one out of the many reasons why Connected Development, a civil society organization, while expressing hope that a better Nigeria will certainly emerge after the 2023 general elections, called for a re-strengthening of Nigeria's democracy, where campaigns should be strictly issue-based.
The politicians always find a way to make elections about ethnicity, about tribe. And these are things that mostly cause violence.
The founder of Connected Development, Hamzat Lawal, who called on security agencies to live up to expectation, also called for more support for all security agencies, as the fight against insecurity is a collective responsibility.
I know that the leadership of all the security apparatus are loyal and committed to one Nigeria without any bloodshed or violence. The international community has a keen interest in Nigeria because we're a partner of the world. As a civil society leader, I know that yes, there are speculation. There are some whispers in the corridor, but I am confident that Nigeria would always trump, Nigeria would always survive and live above water.
Nigerians were urged to grow above religious and ethnic sentiments and work for the peace and unity of Nigeria in all their endeavors, as well as ensure a peaceful atmosphere before, during, and after the 2023 elections.
Dr. Adebayo Shitu is here for the closing comments on political updates. One of the worrisome trends we have found is this issue of vote buying. And allegations have also come during your primaries, the primaries in your party, by some aspirants that this also happened. Are we likely to see more of it during the elections, or your hands are clean?
Well, our hands are clean, and I want to challenge anybody who has any such evidence of any such criminality, because buying of votes is a criminal action. You report to the security agencies, with your evidence, and then, leave the security agents to do the needful. We must not encourage buying of votes because it compromises the true, legitimate and valid interest of democracy.
Nigerians say I should tell you politicians to imbibe the spirit of the men and women who represented Nigeria at the Commonwealth Games, the spirit of sportsmanship. That is how we leave it on the program. Many thanks to the minister for coming. Dr. Adebayo Shitu, it's been nice having you.
It's my pleasure.
Hopefully we'll be having you again as we run through to 2023. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Of course, the Nigerian Television Authority for news, reviews, previews, and interviews continues to be the best, Africa's finest and largest. So stick with us throughout, and don't forget that this is the political season. It's getting and gathering momentum at the moment. So play your politics for the greater good. Bye-bye now.